प्यारे दोस्तों, सबको नमस्कार। एक और दफ़ा मैं बता नहीं सकता हूँ कि आज आपसे मिलकर हमको ज़्यादा खुशी है। हम ज़्यादा दुखित घटनाओं में हमारी मुलाकात हो रही है। यूक्रेन के लिए ज़्यादा दिलचस्पी है, लेकिन मेरे लिए अफसोस की बात यह है कि ये बहुत ऊंचा दिलचस्पी ऐसे दुखित घटनाओं में है। पिछले पत्रकार सम्मेलन की तुलना में आज और ज़्यादा लोग आते हैं। मैं बहुत परिचित चेहरे देख सकता हूँ, लेकिन नए आते हैं। आपकी इजाज़त से मैं अंग्रेज़ी ज़बान में ट्रांसलेट करूँगा। It's the 5th day of Russian aggression into Ukraine. I am speaking to you not only as ambassador of Ukraine, but as a normal human being. I am afraid of any night calls from Ukraine, from Ukrainian numbers, because every night there is some shelling, bombing, offensive. I am starting my working day talking to my personnel what's happened in their house, in their home. Unfortunately, some people got their houses damaged, even people which are from the embassy staff. Shelling is going from all sides. It's not only direct Russian aggression, but the shelling is very active from the territory of Belarus, from Belarusian Chamcha regime. General situation is rather difficult, but basically it's under Ukrainian control. The plan of Blitzkrieg that the Russians were expecting that within 5-6 hours, maximum 1 day, they will occupy the whole territory and will put up puppet regime. This plan absolutely failed. It's the 5th day of the war. We are suffering a lot of civilian casualties. According to official information of our Ministry of Health, already 16 children were killed from bombings, shellings, and so on, as a result of Russian peace fighting operation. Only during last 2 days, Russian missiles hit orphanage, oncological center, children polyclinic, kindergarten. The latest our casualties was one museum which was burned down, and yesterday we had also very tragic event when the only in the world, the biggest transport plane Mriya An-225 was destroyed by Russian shelling. It was unique plane, the biggest in the world. Now, even with modern technologies, it's very difficult to build something like this. Taking into account all these tragic events, shellings, killings, Ukraine applied to Hague Court, International Court of Justice. I mean, these military crimes and so on. Just 1 hour before this meeting, I received a report that missile hit ambulance. All the people in this ambulance were killed. You saw, I am most grateful to our Indian friends, to the majority of diplomats here. You saw that in front of embassy, there is the show of solidarity with Ukraine. People are voluntarily bringing flowers, toys, because as I mentioned, 16 children were killed, lighting candles. Every evening at 7 o'clock, we are holding commemoration ceremony with lit candles. Situation, I think that you also monitor the general international situation. Every day, new and new sanctions are imposed upon Russia. You saw that yesterday, airspace of Europe was closed for the Russian airplanes. Today, on the pro-governmental Russian side, was information that Minister for Foreign Affairs of Russia, Mr. Lavrov, cannot get to Geneva for the UN conference on disarmament and human rights. And United Nations claimed that they cannot help him to get there. You see the real situation. On the one hand, I do not understand what Lavrov could do at the UN Human Rights Conference. On the other hand, मेरे लिए अफसोस की बात यह है कि he has not reached Geneva because there will be too many questions to the Russian side on this issue. Let's look at the economic situation in Russia. Let's look at bank rates, at the rate of ruble and other powerful sanctions. Russian economy is crippling every day. Ukraine already set up hotline for the parents and the relatives of the Russian soldiers fighting in Ukraine, for those who got lost in Ukraine. There are thousands of calls. You saw today on all major newspapers, on the front page, the real pictures, what is going on. Burning houses, burning Russian tanks, burning Russian armored vehicles. Russia is having absolutely unpredictable for them and unprecedented casualties. According to official estimate, the military casualties, killed and wounded, of the Russian soldiers is approximately 5,300 soldiers and officers, a lot of prisoners of war. Many of them are absolutely young conscripts, 18, 19 years old. And this figure is mounted. The figure of destroyed Russian planes, tanks, armored vehicles, heavy guns is also mounted. Unfortunately, together with these figures, our casualties are also mounting. And as I mentioned, not only military, but civilian. 2 days back, Ukraine officially approached Red Cross to assist Ukraine with taking away and delivery to the Russian border hundreds of dead bodies of Russian soldiers which are scattered on the whole territory. Official statements of the Russian Ministry of Defense not mentioning anything about heavy losses, about heavy casualties. Only yesterday came fast information that, not official, but from some local authorities, that one man from their area was killed. And only yesterday, Ministry of Defense of Russia said about their brave soldiers and the fact that they are having some injured and killed. Russian people really do not know a real picture what is going on, but information, of course, is pouring in Russia. Our position was, and yes, please stop the war. We are asking our foreign partner, please try to exert pressure on Putin to stop war. Today, Ukrainian delegation went to the border with Belarus to hold the first round of peace talks. But even in the time when these peace talks were expected to start, continued shelling, bombing, sporadic attempts to seize some Ukrainian position. I am working very actively with our Indian partners. Just within last 2 days, we had 2 telephone conversations between our foreign ministers. There was a call of our president on Modi ji, and yesterday I had a rather long and productive meeting with the foreign secretary. Now, the topic which you are interested most, apart from what I mentioned, Indian students on the border. I'll just give you the picture what is going on. The amount of Ukrainian refugees has exceeded 4 lakh. It's approaching very quickly, that's 5 lakh point. If the war is not stopped, there are some pessimistic prognoses of World Refugee Organizations that the amount of refugees can reach 7 million persons if the war is not stopped. In this case, it will be humanitarian catastrophe, not only for Ukraine, for the whole Europe, and it will have global consequences. There are very long queues on the border. In these long queues, lakhs of Ukrainians, only women, children, and elderly people. In these long queues, thousands of foreigners, including from the most friendly to Ukraine countries, which rendered military and other assistance. In this long queue, there are foreign diplomats. Everyone is standing in this long queue, trying to enter the territory of Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, or Romania. The wife of my military attaché is together with two children, with diplomatic passport, with two children. The youngest daughter is just 1 year old. She still is in the queue for 3 days. He failed to solve her issue. She is still patiently waiting. I also failed. You understand, I am ambassador of Ukraine to India. Of course, my main functional duty is protection of the interests of Ukrainian citizens here. Telling the truth, I've got a lot of headaches because due to disruption of air services with Ukraine, many hundreds of Ukrainians got stuck in Sri Lanka, in Maldives, in India, and my people, my consular people, sometimes me, are working very hard on this issue. But in this case, in case with the Indian students, me and my deputy are trying to use even our personal contacts, unofficial personal contacts, to try to mitigate this problem. I congratulate Indians that the first 3 planes with the students came from Romania. Telling the truth, I was interfering on this issue. But you understand that my capacity sitting here, the capacity of my people are rather limited. The general situation, especially on Jagbani border post, dozens of thousands of people waiting patiently, trying to get into Poland. Today, several group of Indian students entered the territory who were standing in this queue, and they are taken by bus to the town of Bydgoszcz and then to the airport. Of course, your ministry, your government is trying to do everything possible. But I think each of you understand it's a war. It's a very deep crisis. It's a sometimes panic among the refugees. As I mentioned, me and my deputy, we are trying to help your people on the voluntary basis. Yesterday, I had meeting with Foreign Secretary Shringla. I deeply respect this professional, highly qualified diplomat. It was also his personal request for me to try even more actively to help. We are trying, but our resources partially limited due to the situation on the border. Situation is fluctuating every time. What is the problem near Jagbani on the Polish border? The biggest queue, the biggest crowd of people. It's the most popular route for evacuation for everyone. And this is most densely populated area. Now, our border guards issued information that comparatively much less concentration of refugees is on the Hungarian border. At the present time, it was advised to refugees to try to enter the territory of Hungary. Of course, I cannot say that after 10 hours or 12 hours situation will not change and there may be over-concentration of refugees even on this direction. Me personally and my deputy, we are on regular contact with commanders and even at lower level of border guards in this problematic area. What I can assure you, some channels, some people looking for sensation, they are talking about some kind of discrimination. Even some people are talking about racism. Please stop using this tragedy for sensations and even for some political means. We are the victim of aggression. Hundreds of thousands of people are scared. We are with everyone. We are trying to help everyone. That's why, after my conversation with the commanders of the border guards, their only request for everyone, not only for Indians, everyone is on the equal footage. All of them are refugees. Request was very simple to everyone. Please keep the line. Please keep discipline. Please do not try to overtake the line. Really, there were some untoward incidents with citizens of many countries on the border and with Ukrainians also, when some people tried to overtake the general queue and to enter the territory out of turn. Situation is extremely difficult, but it's still under control. Even sitting here, I am ready to continue assistance what is possible, because you understand that my resources in this case is limited. I am here in Delhi and due to the general situation which is on the border. But we are ready. It was the personal request of Mr. Shringla. It was the personal request of many parents. We are open to any contact, and I am asking everyone, please tell your citizens, they should and they understand very well deep crisis. Please try not to create panic, not to try to enter border out of turn. Our minister is getting a lot of distress calls from many foreign ministers, and every time everyone is asking, please arrange preferential treatment for my citizens. But again, you see, in this case violating of some rights. We were talking directly to border guards, please help, please this. And the reaction of our border guards who are working 24 hours before all this huge multinational crowd. He said, how can I possibly do? How can I push aside the pregnant women with small children to permit, for example, some citizens of, for example, Morocco or other country to go out of turn. We are with us. Our embassy is trying also to do something. But the main question, you understand, we are victim. We are victim of the aggression. And from the moral point of view, it's not fair to accuse some our people and to accuse Ukraine. In the eastern Ukrainian towns, your students are hiding in bomb shelters in Kharkov, in Sumy. Sumy is the native place of my wife, and just yesterday night, the house of her auntie and the whole residential area there was absolutely destroyed. We are distributing free humanitarian aid on absolutely equal footing. Ukraine is also interested to solve this issue with refugees. But please do not forget the root cause of the problem. It's not Ukraine. It's not Indian students. It's not other foreigners. It's not other foreign diplomats which got stuck on the border. You know the main cause of this tragedy: Russian bombings and shellings. And shellings, the problem of refugees, the problem in particular in your case with Indian students, will never come up. In any case, ending this story with the Indian students, I am on regular control. I am keeping regular control. We are contacting our border guards, and in these long queues, the Indian students, Indian citizens who were in the fast lane, they are entering the neighboring territories. Moreover, Ukrainian border guards, I am coordinating, for example, this situation with colleagues from the European countries. We introduced simplified procedure. We are not demanding the set of documents and so on and so on. Complete set of documents. I am trying to be optimistic that this issue of on Indian students, this problem will mitigate, that the majority of them who are concentrated on the western border will leave the war-stricken country. But again, we are asking everyone, we are asking every Indian, all the people, please help us to stop the war. This is my position.
Excellency, what is the assurance you can give to the Indian students who are staying in Ukraine and still are stuck there?
What can I give?
What is the assurance you can give to them?
The main assurances should be given by Putin to Indian students. But we are, your foreign ministry, now your politicians are trying to solve this issue. And Ukrainian side, both in Ukraine and we personally here, trying to help. As I said, it's a war. It's a deep crisis. I do not know what will happen on this or other border post after 3 hours. I can assure you that Ukrainian side is helpful. It's helpful to everyone who is trying to leave the territory. It's really the huge humanitarian tragedy. I know very well your history. You remember the tragic 1947-48 when lakhs of people were trying to enter India. Now we have the catastrophe, humanitarian catastrophe in Ukraine. Its dimension is approaching to this scale.
Sir, Indian students have been heckled and they are been ill-treated.
What kind of safety?
They are being heckled. The
Humanitarian
Indian
safety.
students on humanitarian grounds, the Indian students over there are being heckled. We have eyewitnesses who have come out and said that how they have been ill-treated on your land. How is it that
Well-
you come ahead and ensure this?
Ill-treated by whom?
By Ukrainian soldiers.
Ukrainian authorities.
Ukrainian authorities. There is also discrimination that is being reported.
Well, stop talking about discrimination and racism. I repeat it once again. Please stop spreading panic. Me and my people, out of my responsibility, we are on the regular contact with our bodyguards and their commands. As I mentioned, there are happening untold incidents with people from many countries and with Ukrainians who are trying to get out of the queue and to get the border out of town. That's why our bodyguards are asking everyone, please keep discipline, please do not create panic, please stand in the queue. Unthird, in this panic condition, these incidents happened with many people. I cannot guarantee that some other incidents with people of any nationality will not repeat if somebody will try to break the line, to do anything. Discipline, order. I mentioned you that I cannot solve the issue of my defense attaché wives who is standing in this queue for 3 days with 2 children. Please keep the calm. Please tell them. Please don't spread the panic.
But sir, what are your expectations from India, sir?
Huh?
What are your expectations from India?
Mr. Pollock, I would like to ask.
What kind of?
Sir, your meeting, the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister and your President spoke.
Yes.
Tell us about what happened during the discussion.
And I would like to
Then the
add
two
also-
foreign ministers spoke.
Satisfied by the
India has a
response?
good relationship with Russia. What do you expect?
What do you expect?
How India
Are you
will-
satisfied by the response that Indians, by the stand India took in UNSC?
As ambassador of Ukraine and any ambassador of Ukraine in any country is working everywhere for the more favorable reaction of his host country. The same cases with me. I am on regular contact with your officials, and I am grateful to the Indian side that one of the results of my yesterday's meeting with Mr. Shringla, I applied for humanitarian aid, and the response was absolutely positive.
Excellency, how many people are from India in
About the-
Ukraine? Excellency, how many people from India are stuck in Ukraine? If you can give some numbers.
Once again, I am responsible, my consular people, for the Ukrainian citizens here.